Hello everyone. My name is Laura. I am 26 years old. I live in Leeds. Today, I want to tell you a story about trust, secrets, and a life I thought I understood. Before we begin, listen carefully and learn English with me. Now, let's start. I have been married to my husband, Mark, for 4 years. He is a calm man, quiet, polite, and very private. He always told me the same thing about his job. I work in logistics. I never really understood what that meant, but I trusted him. Every morning, he left the house at 8 a.m. Every evening, he came back at 6 p.m. It was always the same routine. Simple, predictable, safe, or so I thought. Mark never talked much about his workplace. Whenever I asked questions, he would smile and change the subject. I thought he was just tired from work, so I never pushed. One day, something small happened. Something I almost ignored. Mark left his work ID card on the kitchen table. I picked it up. His name was there, but the company name confused me. It was not a logistics company. It was a financial company in the city center. I frowned. Maybe he changed jobs? He never told me. That night, I asked him, "Did you change your job?" He looked surprised. Then he smiled. "No, same job." I stared at him. Something felt wrong, but I let it go. 2 days later, I noticed something else. Mark's clothes were too clean. No dust. No oil. No signs of physical work. Even his shoes looked expensive. Not like someone working in logistics. I started to feel uneasy. A strange feeling in my stomach. But I still trusted him. Until the day everything changed. That Sunday morning, Mark said he had to work overtime. "I may be late tonight," he said. I nodded. But something inside me whispered, "Follow him." I ignored the thought. At first. But by midday, I couldn't focus. I kept thinking about the ID card, the company name, his strange answers. So I did something I had never done before. I followed him. I stayed at a distance. Careful. Quiet. My heart was beating fast. Mark took a bus. Then another bus. Then he entered a building in the city center. Not a warehouse. Not a factory. A glass office building. I stopped outside. I felt confused. My husband had always said he worked outside the city, not inside it. I watched him through the glass doors. He walked in confidently, like he belonged there. I waited for an hour. Then I saw something that made my heart drop. Mark came out of the building, but he was not alone. A woman walked beside him. They were laughing, comfortable, familiar. My hands started shaking. I stepped back quickly. He didn't see me. I followed them again. They went into a cafe. I stood outside, watching through the window. They were sitting close. Too close. He touched her hand. I felt like the ground disappeared under me. I wanted to leave, but I couldn't move. I needed answers. After 30 minutes, they left the cafe together. I followed them again. This time, they went to a residential street. They stopped in front of a small house. The woman opened the door. Mark walked inside like it was his home. I froze. That moment changed everything. I went home before he returned. I sat on the sofa, silent, thinking, waiting. That night, Mark came home at 6 p.m. Just like always. He kissed my forehead. He asked about my day. I couldn't look at him. My mind was full of questions. But I said nothing. Not yet. The next day, I decided to go back. I needed proof. I went to the same street. The same house. I knocked on the door. A woman opened it. The same woman. She looked at me calmly. "Yes," she asked. My voice was shaking. "Who are you?" She looked confused. "I live here." "Why?" I swallowed hard. "Do you know Mark?" The moment I said his name, her face changed. She stared at me. Then she said something I will never forget. Yes, he lives here too. I felt cold. That's impossible, I whispered. She frowned. He has been living here for 2 years. 2 years. I felt dizzy. I held the wall for support. The woman continued. We work together. He told me he was single. My heart dropped. Single? I was his wife. I turned and walked away. I couldn't breathe properly. Everything was breaking inside me. That night, I waited for him. When Mark came home, I didn't pretend anymore. I showed him everything. The photos. The address. The woman. He went silent. Completely silent. Then he sat down slowly and said nothing for a long time. Finally, he spoke. I didn't want to hurt you. Those words made me angry. You already did. He looked at me, tired, ashamed. Then he told me the truth. He had been living a double life, not just with work, but with another woman, another home, another identity. I felt like I was listening to a stranger. Not my husband. Not the man I trusted. Just a stranger. I asked him one question. Why? He couldn't answer. Because there was no answer that made sense. I left the house that week. I moved into a small apartment. I needed space. I needed silence. I needed to understand how I missed everything. But slowly, I realized something. People can look normal and still live secret lives. And sometimes, love makes us blind. Months later, I focused on rebuilding my life. It was not easy, but it was real. And real is better than lies. Today, I no longer ask people to prove who they are. I just watch. And I trust slowly. Very slowly. Because I learned something important. Not everyone who comes home every day is telling the truth about where they have been. And that is the end of my story. Thank you for listening. English Challenge. If you discovered your partner was living a double life, what would you do first? Vocabulary. Logistics. Work involving transport and delivery. Routine. Something you do regularly. Identity. Who a person is. Confused. Not understanding something. Trust. Believing someone is honest. Life lesson. Trust is important, but awareness is also important. Sometimes, truth is hidden in small details. Did you enjoy this story? Subscribe for more Learn English through story videos.